Oh man, my first win. What an emotional day. A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. We're going to get to that story in a minute, and it's a good story. So, first off, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. My name's Mike Anderson. This is Bad Apple Facts. Now, my family's been racing for generations. Started back with the Moonshiners, as I was told, and just passed down as racing normally does, or a lot of traditions do. That was our sport. Family full of mechanics, family full of race car drivers. That was the Anderson thing, and that's how Bad Apple became. So, regardless, my grandfather taught my father everything he knows about being a mechanic and being a driver, and what we did as a family to have fun as a hobby. The issue with this hobby is it costs money. It's not just going fishing or hunting. Racing is very expensive and it's very competitive. So some of the hard work and dedication and all that family's money can be spent just trying to get to the track to have this one good time every week. That could be gone just like that over a car crash because now you have nothing. You could have thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars invested into this car, and you hit the wall doing 100. It's junk, bub. You're done. Anyway, so it's a sport that's not taken lightly. We work very hard for it. We enjoy it a lot. When my father's father, my grandfather, passed away, I never got to meet him way before my time. But my dad stopped racing, had his own stuff to do. And plus, that was something they bonded over, right? So it's hard. We know, you can't go to the racetrack without your dad. And like that, you have core memories there, real solid memories that are never going to fade away. And now he's not there to enjoy it with you. So my dad just backed off. Even though he backed off, it was still always in the back of his mind. Oh, got to get back on that track. One day I'm going to get back on that racetrack. And when I was born into the life, sure as shit, the Anderson way. And my dad eased it on me because we weren't in the situation to jump back into racing. Plus, I was young, but every weekend we were watching NASCAR and studying, and like he was making it real fun. So, as tradition is passed down, I fell in love as well. Well, when I was about 7 or 8 years old, my dad decided to pull that trigger and get back on the track. And he started with ice racing at the very bottom level. He bought an old 69 Chevy Nova. It was ready for the ice, and he ran it for one season. We didn't do great at all. Ice racing wasn't where it was at. And I remember asking my dad because every sport we played, he coached me in sports all throughout my childhood, and we always dominated essentially. Championships piling up. I had trophies all over my bedroom from sports. We go into racing, I was expecting that to just happen. And I was confused at that age. Like, why aren't we? What's wrong? Like, do we suck? Essentially, like, Dad, do we suck at this? And I think that triggered him because the next year we weren't ice racing. We were on the asphalt circuit, right back at the home track he learned at Star Speedway, where my grandfather raced and won. My father raced and won. And now we're going to start back over from scratch. He's going to teach me the Bad Apple way, the hard way. And we started from the bottom, he did, running four-cylinder truck enduros, the Halloween Howler. It's a super fun event, but it's not profitable. And it's just it's a cheap way to have fun. But my dad's mindset, once I said, do we suck? He was going to show me how to progress and build a brand. And that's one of the best lessons I've ever learned because he gave the brand to me. So there's that. But he started off from the very bottom. Cheap money. These cars were not safe. It's an enduro class. Essentially, you could have your work pants, a pair of boots, and a helmet, and you can go racing if you have a cheap four-cylinder car. My dad did that, but he started getting some hype because my dad bought a truck. He bought a Chevy S10. So it was different than the cars. Everybody's running these four banger wop, pop, pop. My dad bought the truck and he was running against the cars. And although he wasn't winning right off the bat, people were like, God damn, Like, this motherfucker built a truck that's just as fast as my fucking Honda Civic. You know what I mean? Like, these dudes are fucking going fast. And my dad, with his infinite knowledge, fucking Mr. Chevy, knew how to build that fucking 2.2. Was it legal? No. If he ever fucking won a race, he was disqualified. That was not the point. We weren't racing for money. If you win, you might get 100 or $200. That wasn't the issue. It was the point. He put on a show for the fans, got his name, his garage out there as he sponsored himself, and showed me with hard work and dedication and a little bit of infinite knowledge about you can win. So with all that combined, now I'm hyped. Now I don't longer like baseball. I want to race. I'm going to school. I quit the football team. I quit baseball. None of that. I don't care. I'm that kid from the city that wanted to drive a race car and was driving a race car. That changed my whole mindset. Now my dad's so good at this, and all his teammates, he started this Bad Apple Racing with his employees or his friends that also built race cars. They hung out in garages and built race cars. That's what we did. That's what's up. It was an awesome childhood. So these dudes are all doing good. Everybody knows us now. When we go into the track, it's, oh, Bad Apple's in the house. So I'm getting this clout as a youngster because of my father, you know what I mean? He's putting on a show. All of our teammates are putting on a show. I'm working the pits at like 8, 9 years old. I'm a part of the pit crew. I'm not even supposed to be in the pits for safety reasons, obvious safety reasons, but my dad pulling the strings, I was always there. When the time came around, I was able to get my first opportunity to drive. Oh boy. 12 years old with insurance at the time and some track time and coming from a racing family, I was allowed to race. And a lot of us then were. And even now, there's kids younger than that driving way faster race cars now. But back then, it was a really big deal for me. And I remember turning 12 and wanting to go. One day I came home from school and there's a Nissan 240X, badass car my dad had bought from Connecticut. It was the champion the year before at a Connecticut racetrack. And it was a super safe car and it was a winning car. So, like, what more could I ask for? It just handed me a championship winning badass car. He had it all decked out. Me, being me, I didn't want to be the only one not racing a truck. The whole Bad Apple Motorsports was racing trucks. Why am I the fuck with the car? My dad's like, what are you talking about? You got the nicest piece of equipment that anybody's got. Like, this is badass. Nope. I wasn't hearing that. I wanted to race next to my dad. I wanted to beat my dad. I'd never been able to do a competition with him. Baseball, he was always my coach. Meaning if I fucked up, I was running laps. Now on the racetrack, if I could prove it and I could beat him fair and square, to me, that was the dream, right? And eventually I would do that. So that's where it comes to my first win, because my dad caved in. We sold the Nissan, the winning car he had bought me, and bought me a truck that was a twin to his. And it was fast, man. But I was not good. I thought just because it was fast and my dad built it that the driving skills would come naturally. Oh, this was a real life lesson because baseball came naturally, Football, I'm a big dude. Like, you get picked for the football team naturally. This racing thing, there was a lot more into it. I mean, whoa, talk about a humbling experience. And I lost so bad my first season, and it was so discouraging because between me making mistakes left and right and being so hard on myself, and why am I not beating these guys? Even though I'm a 12-year-old kid racing against 30-plus-year-old grown men and women that have experience, I was that hard on myself. I was so hard on myself, matter of fact, that off season, that winter, I was gonna quit. I was thinking about telling my dad, listen, you're really good at it. I know it's a family tradition and all, but it's not for me. I get very nervous and my anxiety, and I'm not doing good. I don't want to do it anymore. And he sat me down and he's pretty much just hard love. Like, practice will make perfect. It's going to be all right. And he gave me a realization of reality that my idols that I was watching, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt Sr., those guys didn't just hop in a car and win. They put a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of their time into it. So that whole winter, while we plowed, I had to save up my own money to invest in this car. If I wanted the newest tires, if I wanted a better upgrade to my motor, any of that. If I wanted a cool helmet, I was really into cool helmets. That was out of my pocket, which what did that for me was making it so much more valuable in the end. To where when I got into the car, I was proud. This wasn't just given to me this year. I had to earn it, right? And that mindset, that's all it takes is like, oh, I earned this. Like, all right, so for one, I'm not going to take any stupid risk to risk crashing this car and losing it all. Like, for one, I'm very cherish everything I did for this, and for two, I want it to be known to everybody that I am good, and I did earn this, and I put hard work, sweat, and blood into showing everybody that. So here it comes, late July, right after my 13th birthday. We're in Wiscasset Speedway, my favorite track. Not my home track, but my favorite track. And it's just a good time. I know everybody. This community in that up Maine, that community of racing is amazing. I mean, just welcoming, high level of competition. Always got to find something. These redneck ingenuity is a real thing, man. So these guys are fast. They don't give a fuck, and they're there to win. So for me to be in that platform now, this isn't just an enduro truck series. This is a whole series to where you could win 5 grand on certain occasions, big races. And my first win wasn't a huge race. It was just a big one for me. It was stacked field as normally. July, middle of July, race season's intense. Everybody's going for that championship, right? That's really the end goal. Me, I didn't care about the championship. I wanted my checkered flag, man. I wanted it. I knew I was fast. I had come in third place. I had come in fifth place the weeks prior. So I was tasting that fresh air, that victory air. Well, this race was the perfect storm because who do I start behind? No one other than my teammate. We called him the potato. And this dude was a scud missile, right? I mean, shout out Rick. If you're watching this, you can hit me up. But this dude was a scud missile. And he would pull some tricky shit on the racetrack. You never knew what he was up to. He was always up to something. And one thing, you didn't want to be too close to him for very long. Like, if you were on the racetrack racing next to him, you wanted to pass him or let him crash out because more than likely he's going to be a scud in the equation during the race. There was just facts. My dad liked him, took him under his wing because he had heart. And that's what it's about. And it's a family thing. But regardless, you don't really want to be next to him on the track. Well, I was behind him. And he was starting first, pole position. We had a competitor, I forget who, outside pole. And I was third directly behind my teammate. Bad apple racing, there's rules. Like, we are a team out there. So, there's no every man for himself. If your teammate's in a position to win and you're in a position to help him win, you're much expected to do that. That's facts. My dad made it known to everybody. Because if you were that selfish and you wouldn't do that for your teammate, you gotta go, man. Because this is a family thing. You're a weak link at that point. So I had to. My goal is to push the potato on the green flag, get him up ahead. That way he can be decently in the lead and I can capture second place from our competitor. Meaning Bad Apple Motorsports has first and second. Now, Exposed to Fuck, at that point, we're allowed to race each other. Of course, it is every man for himself because I already helped put him in that position. And now if I can pass him, that's on me. That's just about skill, talent, etc. And that's what it came down to, because he's a Scud missile. I told you. I pushed him out in front. He gets a good lead. I'm talking car length, car and a half length, which is a good size lead right off the jump. I capture second place. We're coming down the back stretch. It's the potato, it's me. I'm on his ass. He hits the current first turn. Actually, it was turn 3. My bad. Sorry. Don't mind. Turn 3, and he damn near loses it. As soon as he comes into turn 3 at Wiscasset Speedway, he's dialing it right, and he's trying to correct himself, doing the fishtail. He saved it. But by him doing that, I caught right up to him. There's no longer a big gap between us. I'm on his ass. And he sees that in his mirror. And I'm just putting pressure. It didn't take but 2 laps. And me just completely focused in like, I'm going to beat this dude. Like, I can get by him and nobody can touch me. But if I don't get by him, he's going to slow me down. And neither of us are going to win this race. So I fucking dropped a gear, which I had never done. My dad always taught me to grab second to third and leave it there. I never downshifted. Maybe I watched too much Fast and the Furious that weekend. Perhaps. Anyway, after a couple laps, I'll never forget it. We crossed the checkered flag, checkered line down the front stretch, and there's 2 laps left. The flag man gives us the double flag, meaning 2 laps left. The potato goes down, and for some reason, I just grabbed it out of third and yeeted it back into second. And once I grabbed that gear, wah, and the truck just gripped. And I had never felt a rush like that in my life. I mean, talk about it was something, boy. I'll tell you that much. And I got him on the inside. And I passed him down the back stretch, finished him off. Now it's last lap. I held it and I won. Here I am. I fucking did it. Yes. Let's go, And I was so happy, and I'll never forget. He came in second. So after I did my victory lap, my little burnout, my celebration, whatever, I come and he's right behind me, and we're going to all take pictures for the final picture photo shoot, which I have and I'm going to find so I can attach this video in the future. But he is pissed. And this is my boy. Like, this is my dad's best friend. Took him under his wing. And he's growling at me, you fucking cheater. You fucking cheater. Like, yeah, we were all cheating, like, motor-wise, and maybe a little tire softener somewhere in there in the equation, perhaps. I don't know. But so wasn't he. And I just looked at him and he said, you fucking cheater. And I'm like, second sucks, loser. And I feel bad because that was just a dickhead bully move, right? There I was. That was my first win. Before I head out of here, guys, there's a real point to this video, and it's that I started from the bottom on that series, and I got my ass kicked my whole first season so bad to where I was willing to tell my father I quit. And I did. And my father sat me down, gathered me up, and showed me what hard work and dedication and pursuing your passion can do and change your life. Because after this, my life was changed. I had multiple offers. I had Texas Roadhouse sponsoring me. There was actually an opportunity there that I created from hard work. And I love that. And I want to share that message to you guys, because in anything we do, we have bad days. Sometimes we have bad years back to back, but you have to keep it pushing. And this is a real story. This is Bad Apple Facts. I'm Mike Anderson, and you can look it up. That's a real story about how just to keep pushing. I love you guys. I hope this was good. Working on setting everything up. So let me know, aesthetic-wise, what I can do to make it better. Peace.